Welcome to my video channel. In this video, let us learn Puccinia graminis. Puccinia graminis is an obligate parasite. It causes a disease called black rust, also called brown rust, in wheat and many other members of the family Poaceae or many grasses.
Hello everyone, welcome to my video channel. In this video, let us understand the life cycle of Puccinia graminis. It's an obligate parasite which causes black rust in wheat, Triticum vulgare. Let us look into the classification of Puccinia graminis. It comes under the division Basidiomycota or Basidiomycotina, class Pucciniomycetes, order Pucciniales, family Pucciniaceae. The genus Puccinia was first discovered in 1801 and there are about 4,000 species under this genus Puccinia. Puccinia graminis is an obligate parasite, polymorphic because it exhibits different forms in its structure, macrocyclic because the life cycle is very long. There are 5 different and distinct stages in the life cycle. It is a heterogeneous rust because it completes its life cycle on 2 different hosts. It affects a wide range of hosts including wheat, barley, oat, rye and many other grasses, and these are its primary hosts, and there is a secondary host. Secondary host is a berberry which is a hedge plant. It is a macrocyclic long cycled rust. The life cycle of Puccinia exhibits 5 distinct and different stages. Stage 0 is spermogonial stage, in which the fungus produces spermatia and respective hyphae. Stage 1 is the axial stage, in which it produces asciospores. These 2 stages occur on the secondary host, that is berberry. Urido stage or uridial stage, in which it produces uridospores. Teleal stage, in which it produces teletospores. Promycelial stage, in which it produces basidiospores. These 3 stages, uridial stage, teleal stage, promycelial stage, occur on the primary host, that is wheat, Triticum vulgare. Coming to the structure of the mycelium, there are 2 types of mycelia, monokaryotic mycelium and dikaryotic mycelium. The basidiospores germinate and produce monokaryotic mycelia of 2 different types, because there are 2 types of basidiospores, plus strain, minus strain. These 2 will produce 2 different types of monokaryotic mycelia, that is plus strain and minus strain. Because of dicaryotization, the dikaryotic mycelium is produced, and the dikaryotic mycelia is actually called the secondary hyphae, has 2 nuclei in each segment. Monokaryotic mycelium will have 1 nucleus in each segment. The mycelium is well developed, branched, septate, and does not spread throughout the host plant. It is localized to isolated patches. It may be intercellular or intracellular, and it produces the branched bulbous knotted haustoria, which are spread, which will enter in the host cells and draw the nutrition. Haustoria are the structure with the help of which the fungus absorbs nutrition from the host tissue and with this nutrition, the fungus grows in the host thallus before it produces the reproductive structures. The transfer septa are long intervals, and thus each segment is very long, with one nucleus in monokaryotic mycelium, two nuclei in the dikaryotic mycelium. The septum is a very simple pore in contrast to the dolipore parenthosome complex in most of the members of Basidiomycetes. The cell wall is made up of fungal cellulose. The cytoplasmic membrane encloses a granular cytoplasm. The reserve food material is glycogen bodies and oil globules. Puccinia graminis involves two different types of hosts. Primary host is Triticum vulgare wheat. Secondary host is Berberry, which is Berberis vulgaris of the family Berberidaceae. Thus, it has two different hosts. Primary host is wheat, secondary host is Berberry. The life cycle is macrocyclic, it is very complicated. We'll start with the basidiospores, which are produced by the germinating teletospores. And these basidiospores are of two different types, plus strain, minus strain. They can germinate only on the Berberry plant. They produce two different types of pycnidia, and the pycnidia produce pycniospores and receptive hyphae. Pycniospores of one strain will get in touch with the receptive hyphae of the other strain. For example, pycniospores are also called spermagonia, spermatogonia, or spermatia of plus strain will attach to this receptive hyphae of the minus strain, and thus the fusion occurs between these two. Initially there is a somatogamy, fusion of two cells occur, followed by plasmogamy, fusion of cytoplasm occur. Later it leads to dikaryoticization, or dikaryotic mycelium is produced by dikaryoticization. All this occurs on the secondary host, that is Berberry plant. So in Berberry plant, you see on the upper surface the pycnidia, in which spermatia and receptive hyphae are produced of plus strain and minus strain. They undergo fusion, dikaryoticization occur, dikaryotic mycelium is produced. Because of dikaryotic mycelium, acial cups are produced on the lower surface of the Berberry plant, and acial cups will produce aciospores. Aciospores now can only infect the wheat plant. When they infect the wheat plant, the thallus of the fungus grows inside the mesophyll and it produces iridosori, in which iridospores are produced. And this is called the brown rust because the iridospores appear brown in color. And the iridospores will reinfect the wheat plant. The infection spreads because of iridospores. Infection of Puccinia spreads in the wheat crop because of iridospores. Towards the end of the growing season of the wheat, that is towards the summer, the iridospori will transform into teletospori and they produce teletospores. Thus, on the wheat plant, iridospori are produced, in which iridospores are produced, teletospori are produced, in which teletospores are produced. Iridosaurus is brown rust, Teletosaurus is black rust. So teletospores cannot germinate on the wheat plant, cannot infect the wheat plant. They remain in the dry grass or hay or the straw of the wheat, which is collected after harvesting, and they undergo hibernation. They will not do anything until the next spring season. So in the spring season, what happens is the two nuclei of plus strain minus strain in the teletospores will fuse to produce a diploid nucleus. The diploid nucleus undergoes immediately meiosis to produce 4 haploid nuclei, and all these 4 haploid nuclei will gradually transform into basidiospores. So thus the life cycle again begins. This is the life cycle of Puccinia graminis. Coming to the symptoms of the Burberry plant. Symptoms appear on both upper surface and on the lower surface. On the upper surface of the Burberry plant, we see pycnidia. In the pycnidia, as I told you already, alright, we have spermatia and receptive hyphae are produced. Spermatia, one pycnidium, will be transferred on to receptive hyphae of the other pycnidium. So transfer occurs between plus 10 to minus 10, minus 10 to plus 10. As a result, you get the dikaryotic mycelium, which leads to the formation of acidia or acial cups, which are wide open cup-like projections appear on the lower surface of the Burberry leaf, and they produce aciospores. Thus, brown colored circular patches or yellow colored patches appear on both upper and lower surface of the Burberry leaf. You can see here the primary host, that is the wheat, secondary host, that is the Burberry. On both these there are infections. Burberry leaf is showing circular infections which are brown in color on upper and lower surface. Wheat shows the infections which are brown in color to start with, later they become black. That's why it's called brown rust, also called black rust. The pustules or the lesions on wheat are elongated. The lesions on the Burberry are circular. You can see the rust that is formed on the Burberry leaf. Close up of the rust that is formed on the Burberry leaf. Coming to the symptoms on the wheat plant, the disease does not spread all over the wheat plant. It is spreading only in the localized regions. You see brown colored pustules, long elongated pustules on almost all the aerial parts of the plant body. And because of this restricted infection, the wheat, that is the primary host, is not completely destroyed. So this pathogen will not kill the host plant, because if it kills the host plant, the fungus cannot complete its life cycle. So it is very clever. It is restricted to some localized regions. It will cause only restricted damage. Even in the severe conditions, the parasite does not damage the whole crop. It will only bring down the yield. The size and the weight of the grains is reduced. The plants will become diminutive. They will be retarded. Apart from this, the pathogen does not damage the host completely. And these are the rust on the wheat. You can see long elongated pustules or lesions on the leaf. What you are seeing is the brown rust because of the iridosauri. Tiletospores or Tiletosauri cause black rust, which occurs during the end of the towards the end of the growing season of the wheat crop. You are seeing here the Tiletospores arising from Tiletosauri. Tiletospores are spindle shaped with pointed tip, and they are double celled, two celled, and the wall is very thick. They are thick walled, double celled, spindle shaped, and in each cell there are two nuclei. So Tiletosauri will produce Tiletospores. These are produced towards the end of the growing season of the wheat crop. And you are seeing the Tiletosauri here producing Tiletospores, and you are also seeing the Tiletospores germinating and producing a probasidium, and each basidium will initially see the two haploid nuclei of two different strains fused to produce a diploid nucleus. Diploid nucleus will undergo meiosis to produce four haploid nuclei, and these four haploid nuclei will transform into four basidiospores. These are the iridosauri. Iridosauri will produce iridospores. Iridospores are round, are oval or aboval. They have thinner cell wall as compared to the Tillotose-spores. Tillotose-spores are bicelled, uridose-spores are single-celled. Each cell has two nuclei. You can see the difference between uridose-spores and tillotose-spores. This is the infection that you see on the Burberry plant. On the upper side, you have the pycnidia, which are flask-shaped, and in each pycnidium, there is an opening on the upper side called ostiole, through which the paraphysis, sterile structures, receptive hyphae, and spermatia are emerging. And the spermatia of one strain will be transferred on to the receptive hyphae of the other strain. Because of somatogamy, plasmogamy, and dikaryoticization, dikaryotic mycelium is produced in the mesophyll, and this dikaryotic mycelium will produce acial cups on the lower side, which are wide open. On the lower side, you are seeing the acial cups, on the upper side, you are seeing the pycnidia. Close up of a single acial cup, acidia it's called, in which the aciospores are produced. You are seeing here a single pycnidium in which you are seeing paraphysis, which are sterile, pycniospores, and flexus hyphae, also called receptive hyphae. On the right hand side, you are seeing the acial cup in which aciospores or acidiospores are produced. They are enclosed within a structure called peridium, and each filament producing aciospores arise from a basal cell. In this, you are seeing both the acial cups on the lower side, pycnidia on the upper side. Pycnidia arise from the germination of the basidiospores. So you have two different types of pycnidia produced side by side. Each pycnidium will produce spermatia, also called pycniospores, flexus hyphae, also called receptive hyphae. Fusion occurs between spermatia and receptive hyphae, which occurs by somatogamy followed by plasmogamy. Then it leads to dikaryoticization. Thus, dikaryotic mycelium is produced. Each filament producing aciospores arises from a basal cell, and two subsequent aciospores are separated by an intercalary cell, also called disjunctar cell. Each aciospore is made up of two nuclei, plus strain, minus strain nuclei, and the aciospores now cannot infect the Burberry plant. They can only infect the wheat plant. So they infect the wheat plant, in which they cause the infections. Life cycle of Puccinia graminis. It begins with basidiospores of two different strains, plus strain and minus strain. Basidiospores will germinate on the Burberry plant. Two different types of pycnidia are produced. Because of dikaryoticization, acial cups are produced. Acial cups will produce aciospores, which are binucleated. Aciospores can germinate only on the wheat plant. Initially, on the wheat plant, iridospores are produced, in which iridospores are produced. Iridospores will spread the infection on the wheat plant. Towards the end of the season, iridospores will be converted into tillotosspores, in which tillotospores are produced. Tillotospores will hibernate on the hay or the wheat grass, which is dried, and during the spring season followed by the winter, the tillotospores will germinate and they produce basidiospores. And the basidiospores will continue the life cycle. Controlling this disease is not very difficult. In fact, once the life cycle was studied, the farmers were told to remove the Burberry plant from the hedges. Normally, in a wheat plantation, wheat crop, the Burberry plant is used as a hedge plant in the fence. And life cycle will continue only because of the presence of this Burberry plant. Once the Burberry plant is removed from the hedge, the life cycle is terminated. So thus the disease is brought under control. Apart from this, you can also spray pesticides, chemical pesticides to control the pathogen. You can also use disease resistant varieties. You can also employ crop rotation, with the help of which we can control this disease. This is a macrocyclic parasite, which is similar to malarial parasite, that is Plasmodium vivax, which completes the life cycle on two different hosts, that is mosquito and man. Similar to that, Puccinia graminis completes its life cycle on two different hosts. One is Barberry plant, which is the secondary host, the other one is wheat, that is the primary host. Thank you very much for watching this video. We will meet again in the next video with some other topic. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much.